joyful hello to all of you. My name is Minku Bhutar, founder of the Circle of Joy that brings you self mastery programs and retreats. It gives me great joy to bring to you this season's talk show, a series of interviews on choosing joy, secrets, and stories from all over the world. It is my diligent attempt to show you that joy is not a hockey pocky frivolous concept, but a discipline, a way of life much needed. If you want to be resilient, radiant, and unstoppable like a runaway train. So, subscribe to my channel so that you can tap into the wisdom of people from all over the world. I will see you there.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the 31st episode of this talk show, Choosing Joy, Secrets and Stories from Around the World. My name is Minku Bhutar, your host from India, and I am so thankful to each one of you who keeps coming back to listen, to grow, to heal from the wisdom of my speakers on the 1st and 15th of each month. Now, all 30 of my previous episodes have been relatively deep and intense with oodles of golden nuggets, of wisdom, of laughter, so many takeaways to chew on and reflect on later. But today, I'm turning the volume a notch up and bringing to the table a topic seldom discussed, betrayal. And it's dedicated to all women out there and men. I like to be inclusive, whose lives have been shattered by betrayal of any kind from themselves, betrayal by careers, by someone they love. And I have to warn you that my very spunky and courageous guest speaker today, we are going to put a spin on how post-betrayal, one can learn how to entangle from the past, how to release judgments, how to stand with your inner power, and how to sharpen skills of self-knowledge, of validation and expression of self. And I would even say how to reclaim your sensuality. And I love that tag to that. So let me introduce you to my very special guest, the sparkling diva first. And believe me when I say that she leaves her sparkles wherever she goes. As you can see it, she's a former attorney. She's a best-selling author, an international speaker, and a life choreographer. I love that. Now, as an infidelity survivor, her keynote addresses are so playful and provocative wake-up calls, and I think we all need that. It's about the impact of stereotypes and judgments on personal and professional well-being at work. It's about cultivating very fulfilling relationships or just, rediscovering your authentic identity. Now, I think her prowess is her candor, her strength, her insight. That's coupled with her ability to accept things in life, enjoy even in the darkest of times. And she leaves her audiences inspired, empowered, and helping them to move ahead with grace. Now, hold on. There's more before I actually bring her on. And you're going to love this part. She uses the concept of burlesque. She inspires audience to strip off their labels, their roles, the scripts, and let go of the self-defeating inhibitions and get metamorphically naked. Ladies and gentlemen, join me to welcome my radiant guest speaker, one of my most scintillating conversations coming your way, all the way from Colorado, Lora Cheadle. Did I pronounce that right?
You did it perfectly. Thank you so much for that introduction. That was amazing.
I'm so happy to have you here, Lora. We met in about 2018, I think, right?
Yes, it was in India.
In India, you were in my part of the world at the World Economic Forum. I think we were both being facilitated as women of excellence,
Yes.
which is fantastic. And I think it was about a year later that you interviewed me on your show, Flaunt. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely right.
And here you are on my show today, and that makes me really happy. And I just have to say this, Lora, before we go into the most interesting questions. What stayed with me since I met you is that light that shines through your eyes. Uh, your sparkle, and it was nothing to do with the glitter you were wearing on your eyes that day.
Thank you so much for that. And right back at you. That was what attracted me to you too, was the joy that radiated from you.
Oh, thank you. So it's mutual. Let's have an absolutely kick-ass conversation today. Lora, I want to start this conversation from where it all started. And you talk so bravely about your very devastating, marital journey, a journey of betrayal by your then husband. And we all know that when a person close to you violates trust, whether it's a workplace or whether it's a family member or a spouse, I think the sting is soul crushing, right? And then you have these thoughts of why me? What's admirable, Lora, is you still rose like a phoenix, stronger than ever before, and you turned it into a catalyst to launch you in a powerful life. Now, what was happening there? And share a little bit, Laura. How did you start this journey, this empowering journey of healing? What was your inner narrative at that time? Please share with us.
Yeah, that's a great question, because when I first started learning, the truth about my marriage, what I thought was a really darn good 23 years, a relationship. Yeah, it was devastating. It was absolutely beyond devastating. And I allowed myself to feel all of that. I went into depression for a while. I couldn't even get off the floor for a while. I couldn't wrap my head around what was going on. And even as I was going through it all, I kept telling myself to honor my feelings, to be where I was at, to not look too far into the future, but just to feel what I was feeling in that moment. And it was interesting because being able to observe myself kind of as a third party, a neutral observer, I would be able to say then, you can be sad, Lora. You can cry, Lora. This is just a moment in time. Feel it all so you can move on.
Oh, yeah. And I think you start questioning your self-worth, right, Laura?
Yes, absolutely. I internalized everything in the short run. I thought everything was my fault, that I wasn't good enough, kind enough, pretty enough, smart enough, sexy enough, helpful enough, whatever. I thought it was everything about me. And once I allowed those thoughts in, it was interesting because there was another voice that came into my head. And that other voice said things like, but is that really true, Laura? Is that true? Are you really a horrible person? And the answer was no.
Right.
Are you really a bad partner? No, you're a good partner. You're kind, you're loving. And just hearing those two voices in my head was really what allowed me to start breaking out of the pain and move on to that next level, because I knew the truth of the matter was it wasn't my fault. Had I made mistakes in the relationship? Of course, everybody makes mistakes in relationships, but none of this was my fault. And then that's what really started that healing journey. Is I felt the pain. I questioned, is this true? And I started coaching myself. I started answering questions that led me to the realization and the understanding that this had nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
And that it was my choice what I did with this experience.
That's interesting, Laura. It's the choice that you made on how, to rise or to drown, right?
Yes, yes. Because I knew that if I chose to heal, that I would. If I chose to make this a learning experience, it would be. And if I chose to let my husband and affair partners ruin my life, I could make that choice too. And I thought, I don't want to be a 90-year-old woman who is bitter and who is still talking about this one bad chapter in my life. I thought, I've got other years to live, and I'm not going to keep talking about what they did to me and how they ruined my life. It's my life, and I choose to live it, and I choose to live it in joy.
Beautiful. Lora, you're so right. I mean, I have come across a few women clients who needed assistance through, whatever they were going through, very crushing emotional betrayals. And exactly what you say, I've heard sentiments of resentment, cynicism, hate. Um, so in your work that you do, is that what you are calling betrayal burnout? I mean, because a lot of your work is centered around this. So what does that mean, betrayal burnout for you?
Yeah, that's such a great question.
Mm.
Betrayal comes in so many different forms,
Mhm.
and it can come, in a relationship, but it can also come in your career. We
Right.
have these expectations in life that
Mm.
just are unmet. And after so many years of having so many expectations crushed, too often we just burn out on trying. We think, why try? I
Mhm.
wasn't promoted at work. I tried my hardest and I was still let go. I've tried with my kids and maybe they didn't do what I wanted them to do. I've tried with partners. I've tried to get a new relationship. I've tried with my parents. I've tried.
Yes.
And just that
Yes.
sense of why bother trying anymore?
Mm.
That after so many years of constantly feeling betrayed, we just get burned out and we just don't want to try anymore.
Mm.
And that's what I mean by that. So questioning, why are you cynical? Why are you resentful? Who are you giving your power to? Are you giving it to your employer to make you happy, to
Yeah.
your parents to make you happy, to your partner to make you happy, to your kids to make you happy? Or are you cultivating and crafting your own life, your own way, and making yourself happy?
And becoming the editor of your own story. How empowering is that, Lora?
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
so amazing. The one thing about betrayal and how you perceive it, like you said, you made the right choices. The other thing that comes to me, because I'm hearing a dialogue and a narrative from you, and I also hear narratives from my clients here in India, and I'm starting to think that there's maybe a spin around the cultural value systems around you and how you perceived and what you thought of marriage when you were growing up. Do you think that has an impact?
A huge impact. A huge impact. And there's so much in our cultures. We all have different cultures.
Right.
Yes. But some of the basic cultural beliefs that come through are be a good little girl, make mommy and daddy happy.
All the
So,
time.
yes. So we spend our whole lives making other people happy, and
Yes,
we never stop and say, but
yes,
what makes me happy?
yeah.
What do I want?
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I think we feel a lot of pressure of being the good one, always putting others ahead of ourselves, and we forget somewhere that our self-care and self-love is important. Now, there's another myth about women, Lora, that comes up for me, and that is that, and I hear this all the time, and I'll tell you where I'm going with this. A woman can't be smart, sexy, and spiritual at the same time. I mean, it's such a quandary for people. So I never get it why we women cannot be that and that and that. And for example, I'll tell you, as a small example, I can go crazy on a dance floor because I love music and dancing so much. And then next week, I escape to a Himalayan cave to meditate. And
Yeah.
and I get asked on my face, Lora, that which one are you? Are you high on life or are you spiritual? And I don't get that. I mean, how is that mutually exclusive concept? I mean, and I know that in your work as well, and that's why I bring it up. You talk about the naked self-worth when you talk to groups and organizations. So what is that all about? Because I know that you even registered the concept of naked self-worth. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Naked self-worth is the ability to value
Mhm.
and to show yourself as you are, not as you think you should be. And it's exactly what you said. We are very multifaceted. We have a wide variety of interests and likes and passions. And we are also very hypocritical. People are. We all are. You know,
Mhm.
sometimes we'll say, I love this and I don't love this. Oh, well, accept that. And just embracing that
Yeah.
we're complicated and that we're complex. And then also breaking away from the idea of that we're valued because of our paycheck or our weight
Mm.
or our size or our marital status or how much money we have.
Yeah.
Naked self-worth is the ability to value yourself for who you are. I can be ugly and messy and complex, and I can be all of those bad, horrible things. And it doesn't make me a bad, horrible person. I can be judgmental. I can be sad. And I can then recognize, hey, this is a part of me that I'm not proud of and that I'm working to change. But I still offer myself up to you as I am, flawed, imperfect, perfect in ways, but I am messy and I am whole and I am complete. And I value all parts of me. And I don't seek to please, conform, and perform for you. I seek to grow and to value myself for me.
That's amazing. It's very empowering there, I think. And if I'm not wrong, these empowering coaching sessions are even called a fair recovery for women. And Laura, that's what I love about you. You call it as it is. I mean, a spade is a spade. And you know, how can you go wrong if there's someone out there who is being crushed by the betrayals, and a fair recovery for women? I love that. So, Laura, can you explain a little bit to our audience about this program, and how does it help women navigate through this devastation? How can they heal from that pain, or how basically how do they even start to rebuild trust in themselves to start with? How would it help them?
Yeah, absolutely. My program is based on the word flaunt, which is a really fun and powerful word because you have to be brave enough to flaunt who you are,
Right.
not who you think you're supposed to be, and to not care what other people think, just to be like, yep, this is me. And it's an acronym. And what it stands for is F, find your fetish. And that's about finding your joy, finding what lights you up. The L, the second step in flaunt, is about laughter. Returning to laughter. Smiling releases endorphins. Laughter releases stress. Laughter puts us in our prefrontal cortex, our thinking brain, and it helps us solve problems. AU, what I like to say is the golden center of flaunt, stands for accept unconditionally. Both, yeah, yourself and where you're at. If you're in pain, you're in pain. Accept it unconditionally. Don't try to be somewhere that you're not.
Yeah.
And also accept other people unconditionally as they are. How much brain damage do we give ourselves hoping other people will change, thinking we can change other people? We can't. We need to accept unconditionally us and others. Then the N in flaunt, FLAUN. The N stands for navigate. Too often we get locked into thinking that the journey should be from point A to point B. And if there's a disruption that it's not meant to be, I shouldn't be here, I'm doing the wrong thing, it's all me, I'm bad, I'm wrong, I'm stupid, I'm ugly, I'm whatever. It's about navigating. When you find your fetish and know what is exciting and brings you joy, your journey is to navigate there. It's not to get there, but it's to navigate. And then the last T in flaunt is all about trusting your truth, your values, your heart, your inner being, your passion. You know, we talked about being smart, sexy, and spiritual. Know who you are. Yeah. If you need to be meditating in a cave, trust that truth. If you need to be dancing on the dance floor, trust that truth. Be where you're at.
That is awesome. You know, I am so happy, Laura, that you shared and broke that down for me. I mean, when I read flaunt, it's a very scintillating word. And we talked about cultures earlier. And in India, mind you, this word is so misconstrued, because I think I think the narrative that I hear around me is this word gets associated with the seductiveness of a woman. And I really wanted to break this myth with you today because, flaunt, so beautifully explained by you, is a journey. It's not what people think. It's not about flaunting your body curves. And I mean, you can do that, right? If you have nibbled, I feel, on lettuce all your life, you deserve to flaunt your curves as well. but but I think we all flaunt something or the other. There are people victories and triumphs. People flaunt that, and I think there's a difference between showing off and flaunting. And so tell me, if flaunt, yes, and you've named your book Flaunt. Drop your cover and reveal your smart, sexy, spiritual self. And so is flaunt uh, segregated into chapters? How have you tackled this book with showing up in your authentic self?
Yeah, absolutely. It is broken down, all the different steps. But what it is also broken down into is Act One. That's your past, your history, the
Right.
belief. Yeah. And I talk about recognizing and releasing those labels, those rules, and those scripts, because you're absolutely right. Flaunt is about being who you are. But
Yeah.
if you don't know who you are, then how can you flaunt who you are? And
Mm.
it's about doing it for you, not for other people. Because, like you were talking about showing off your curves or whatever, I show off for me.
Yes.
I put on my makeup for me because I want to look in the mirror and feel happy and like what I see. If it pleases somebody else, that's up to them. But
That's
I am about pleasing me.
That is so important. It
Yeah.
reminds me of a quote, Laura. It was, I think it's a guy called Sushruth. I think Sushruth, and he says,
Okay.
"Break my mirror heart into 1,000 pieces, my beloved, so that to the world I may proudly flaunt your 1,000 reflections."
Ah, that's beautiful.
Isn't that just amazing? So you're talking about flaunt from, let me understand this better. In your book, do you talk about flaunt from the brokenness aspect? Do you talk about embracing imperfections? How have you put it all together?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. A little bit of both. I put
Mhm.
it together is in that recognizing and releasing your past. So you've got that understanding of where you have come from and why you are the way that you are. And then the next section is about revealing,
Mm.
whether that's revealing your brokenness, whether that's revealing your strength. Because also, mostly, I was going to say mostly women, men suffer from this too, but quite often women and girls are told, don't brag, don't show off.
You bet.
Don't be smarter than the boys. Don't do that. So that revealing, it can be revealing your brokenness, but
Mm.
it can also be revealing your brilliance as well.
Yeah,
It's about revealing your gifts to the world, because if we stay hidden, our gifts get lost. And
that's
then and then the third part of the book is on re-choreographing. And that's re-choreographing your life with the understanding of where I have come from, what I value, what are my gifts, and how do I marry all of those facets of who I am in a healthy, whole, complete person, and carry that new version of myself into the future, because it's all very personal and it's all very individualized, because we've all had different pain. We
Mm.
all have different gifts. And how can we solidly own ourselves and then create that narrative, create that story going forward, so that when things don't turn out the way that we anticipate, whether it's like in my case, infidelity,
Mm.
or losing a job or losing a loved one,
Mm.
how do we reclaim and recenter in who we are so we can go forward and still have a joy-filled, healthy, productive life, and not just crumple
Yeah.
and be miserable and sick and broken the whole rest of our life, and not create pain for other people as well.
Oh, that is so powerful. It's like flaunting your blemishes and embracing your vulnerabilities and just showing up as your best version, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So beautiful.
Because we are guides. We are guides for other people, and people will look to us and then they can say, oh, she went through that and is still soaring. I can too. Or she went through this and she holed up and never left her house again. I guess there's no hope for me.
Mm. Mm. So become shining examples and beacons of light, be that lighthouse that the ships come to. And I think it is, Laura, our personal responsibility to share a story if we have one. And everyone has a story, right? Everyone.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. You also have the 11 filter questions that caught my eye, living in the glitter exercise. So, to me, it sounded like pixie dust coming
Yes.
down. It was so
Yes.
delightful, glitter exercise. And so, at what point does this come in? Is this something related to the book, or is it available on your website? How will it help someone bring clarity and balance?
Oh, such a great question. Yes, the exercise is in my book.
Okay.
And I also have it as a social post. So if you find me on LinkedIn or anything, I can send it to you as a PDF. But living in the glitter is just that. We get so busy and there's so much input. There's so much, news and people and opinions. It's like standing in a shower of glitter where we go, oh, I don't know what's true. I don't know what's not true. I weigh a certain amount, so I must not be worthy. I don't have this. Oh, this. We get all confused. And these are 11 filter questions that will help bring us back home to ourselves to find out what is really true, what really matters in this moment. Because if you are anything like me, it's so easy to get distracted, sparkle, sparkle, and to run off on a tangent and to lose sight of what's really important, what's really true, and what will bring us joy, connection, and love. And that's what these filter questions do. They bring you back home to what really matters.
That sounds really like coming home. Something just clicked to me as you spoke. I have I've had guest speakers on my talk show where, they have this, I appreciate you little cards. And I just, this one sentence flashed in my eye, in my inner scene, just when you were speaking. I think people like you and I should have a tag. We should wear t-shirts saying, I'm a joy queen.
Yes. Yes, we should.
I love that. I'm a joy queen. And when you say that, you're claiming it,
Yes.
and there you are. That's your sparkle. That's your glitter. It takes a lot of
Yes.
courage. It takes a lot of conscious bravery, like a friend of mine says, to actually claim something and live it out, because you got to claim it very authentically. So I think I just absolutely love, and you are so right that our recovery must come first.
Yes.
And everything you love in life doesn't have to come last. Laura, is it also about rekindling a romance? I mean, once you have had this trust broken, uh, can our hearts ever heal so you may love again? How do you propose that? How can you start even loving again after being hurt? What do you think?
Yeah, that's such a good question. First, we do have to take time to heal. There's nothing worse than trying to rush to the next step, to just say, no, I'm fine. Everything's fine. I'm okay. Take the time to heal. You are worth it. You have all the time in the world. If you need a year to heal, take that year to heal. Whatever it is, that's the first thing, is allowing yourself the space and the time to heal. And then the second part of that, how you can really learn to love again after being hurt, is by first loving yourself and knowing that you will have your own back, that your needs matter, that your desires matter. Learning how to speak up and, just like you were saying, claim what you want, claim what you deserve. And it takes time to figure out, what do I want? What do I deserve? Because again, we're so used to serving other people.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
so used to being valued for what we give up instead of valued for what we want.
Mm.
And it takes time to first heal
Mhm.
and then to second, learn who you are, learn who you want or what you want, and then learn how to communicate that
Mhm.
and how to allow yourself to receive. Because that's, again, another thing that is difficult for so many of us
Yeah.
is how to receive. Because we can't receive if we don't feel like we're worthy.
Mm. That's so true. Yeah, to receive. And sometimes I think like I had a problem receiving because at some point you have this narrative going on when you were growing up saying, oh, you know what, say Minku can look after herself and she doesn't need anyone. And then you find that you are as vulnerable as the next person, as your sibling, and you are as wonderful as a teddy bear and you want those teddy bear hugs as well.
Yes.
And if you don't reach out, I think people forget that you need love. So that's beautiful. Just listen to your voice and be open to receiving. That is huge, Laura. That is so beautiful. Yeah. So heal first, and get to a point where you're stable, and then your next relationship is not a rebound, and then you can dance through life at anything life
Mhm.
throws you, right?
Oh, absolutely. And that goes to that last T in flaunt, which is
Yeah.
trust your truth. And, being able to speak your truth. My truth is love. My truth is joy. My truth is connection. My truth is fun.
Yeah.
And I can speak that to people. And if you want to play in my world and dance, I would love to have you. And if you are here to ruin my world, I don't want to have you. And I bless and I release.
That is so straightforward. If only we had courage. And I think we can. Like you said, it's about the choices we make. And times are what they are, Laura, right now in the universe. And it's not the time I find to sit on the fence anymore. You have to make sure you know which side of the fence you want to be, and define your sacred golden boundaries, as I call it. Right?
Yes.
They're
Yes.
beautiful.
And spend more time focusing
Yes.
on those sacred golden nuggets of joy and everything that you love instead of looking at the things that we don't want and fighting them and talking bad about them. Just be in your joy.
I love the work that you're doing, Laura. Helping people heal, helping people find love again. Bless you for this amazing work. And I am so proud and happy that, you used your experience of devastation as a catalyst to rise again like a phoenix. And thank you so much. We're going to move on to the rapid fire round, the fun round. But thank you. I'm going to take this moment to thank you for your crucial message. And I think, Laura, there's a lot of men and women who will benefit with this message of how to find your rock solid self-worth again. So thank you so much. Are you ready for the very quirky, authentic part of this segment?
I am so excited for this part. Yes.
Okay, so one line, one word, and if you feel compelled to, make it a little bit longer, you're at the driver's seat. So with your permission, let me start with the first one. Laura, if oranges were not orange in color, what color would you paint them with?
Ooh, turquoise.
Oh, and that is because?
Because the spice, when you bite into them, feels like a turquoisey spice to me, bold and distinctive.
Oh, I love that. I never thought about that. One thing that you always love to flaunt. This is your moment, Laura.
I love flaunting myself, dancing and shimmying and playing to music.
Absolutely. Well, I'm coming to the US in March. Maybe we should meet up and go dancing together.
Yes, we should.
Okay, the third one for you. Rebuilding trust after an affair. Is it a process or a destination?
Ooh, it's a process.
Okay.
There's always more. There's always something else that will come up.
Right, right. Oh gosh, that almost makes me feel like we need to just take this up and make an episode about it.
No
Okay.
kidding.
So if your outer beauty distracts, then your inner beauty can. Could you complete the statement for me?
If your outer beauty distracts, then your inner beauty can grow,
Mhm.
can grow into proportion to that outer beauty and then exceed that beauty.
Wow, that is powerful because
Mhm.
your inner self radiating outwards. That's amazing. And this one's really telling now and being really wonderful. The last question for you, Laura. What's the most intoxicating compliment you have ever received?
Ooh, that is such a good one.
Spill out the beans there now. Talk
Exactly.
away.
I think the most intoxicating compliment I ever received was from somebody who said I could keep listening and discussing and talking to you for hours because I feel like our conversation is circling through the stars and could go on forever.
Oh, that's absolutely the most romantic thing because when people talk with their eyes and not the lips, I think that's so intoxicating.
Yes.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you for being so authentic and so vulnerable and open. And that's a wrap. How does it feel to be here, Laura, today?
It feels so wonderful. It was such an honor to be with you and to talk and to share.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here again, Laura. Till we meet next time. Now, join me to wish our beautiful listeners from around the world goodbye. Let's wish them a journey of love, of light, and joy. And to all you beautiful listeners, if you have not liked and subscribed my YouTube channel yet, please do so. Love you all for your unconditional love and support. Until we meet again. Bye now.